Hi, we're Group B6 and the following presentation is about our testing and training plans in implementing our diabetic medication management system. Someone internal to the hospital, whether it be HIM or IT staff, will gather authentication to log on, such as a doctor, nurse or pharmacist, and log on to the system and check that it is doing what it is intended to do for the specific user. Testing on the level of authentication will be conducted, such as if a nurse logs in, seeing if they are able to access changing BSL values and if an error pops up if they do. With BSLs, we also need to check that alerts arise when BSLs are documented outside the acceptable range. Deliberately keying in wrong BSL value and also seeing if error messages are displayed will also be checked. We will check that contraindication alerts are working properly by putting in the wrong drug name and checking to see if an alert is generated to the user. We will then check alerts in regards to the prevention of re-administering. Once unit tested, then sub-test is commenced. This involves checking whether the system accepts the BSL values entered into the system by matching it up with the acceptable range. It is then tested to see whether the system blocks the user from progressing until the right values are entered. Stub tests are also involved in the dispensing of medication by manually keying in the dosage of the prescription. This will flag prescriptions that are already dispensed, preventing double dosage. Before implementation, IT staff will run a report of all the tests conducted and generate results showing whether they have passed the threshold value of 90% accuracy. If the testing has failed and the accuracy is below 90%, it has to be recommenced with investigations made as to why there were errors that have occurred. If passed, then it can be moved on to the implementation and training stage of the system. For e-prescriptions, the integration will be with that of the hospital HR system and the patient master index. Tests will be done to know whether the system integrates with the PMI and picks on key information of patient details from the UR number. Also, one more integration would be that of with the hospital HR system. Each staff will access using the same identification as in other systems within the hospital, easing the process of logging and avoiding multiple IDs.
Training that will be imparted to the various employees using the system, such as more technicality to the users and more managerial functions to the managers and supervisors. Training imparted will be constantly monitored by way of evaluation and assessment, creating room for improvement and support, hence enabling a smoother functioning of the system. Remote access is one of the key features, enabling constant contact with the vendor in major troubleshooting. The next slide. In our system, the training champion is the IT staff, who will have overall knowledge of the system except for technical specifications such as drug knowledge and contraindications. IT staff are trained by the external vendor of the system that has provided to the hospital. They are trained in the system architecture on how the system flows and its processes, who to contact for support if they can't resolve any issues from the user, as well as training in system documentation. This is where it is vital for the users of the system that do have a background knowledge of drugs and contraindications, such as the pharmacist, nurse and doctor, to have a sufficient training schedule for the system. The IT staff will run them through a system overview of how to start up and shut down and log into the system, go through major system functions such as prescription and dispense the medications, and how to handle emergencies if the system crashes. This will involve seeking technical support from the IT department. For managers and supervisors with an indirect relation with the system, they will be trained on how to access inventories and stock control, run reports on their business goals, and how to handle system changes. KPIs such as error checks are also run in a report by managers for doctor accuracy, who will be provided the relevant training. Additional support set up by external vendors is also provided online by way of tutorials and online help desk in case of unavailability of the IT staff.